biggest news stories now. We've got Vanessa Feltz and Sonia Sodha, both
Morning,
here. So it's broken within the last hour or so, confirming that the Queen will not attend this year's annual garden parties at Buckingham Palace. She's going to be represented by other royal family members. I mean, this is hardly surprising. We now know that the Queen has mobility issues, and so obviously she's not going to walk. It's an enormous garden. She's not going to walk round it. It's sad, but you know, it's unsurprising.
I suppose it's inevitable, but it is sad to hear because it's just such a kind of I suppose a kind of public declaration that she really is having to scale back, and all the people who look forward to going to these garden parties. I know I'm going this year on the 12th of May. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it, but the jewel on the cake, the jewel in the crown is the Queen, and she's the one that you want to see, and she's the one that you feel so excited to be in the presence of, and she's the one who usually inspires people to say the most inane and ridiculous things, like, you know, happy birthday, Your Majesty, from everyone in Australia, and they think, why did I say that? And hate yourself for the rest of your life, you know, that thing. And you want to get the chance to really embarrass yourself in front of the Queen at the garden party, so I'm so sad.
It is
that
really
she won't
sad.
be there.
However, I guess it is an opportunity, as we've been seeing over the last few years, really, the other members of the royal family sort of stepping up and taking on more roles and more duties.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, there's going to come a time when that absolutely has to happen, which is obviously very sad and no one really wants to talk about it. But I think you're right, it does allow for that. I think the fact of the matter is though, that the Queen, quite rightly, is the royal that the public have the most affection for. And I think, you know, that same level of affection just isn't there for Charles. Maybe a bit for William, but not quite as much. And I do think that the royal family is going to struggle with that transition.
Although I have to always jump in and defend the Prince of Wales. He is an extraordinary man who is... You would never believe that anyone would have their finger on quite urban issues as closely as he does. I mean, I think he gets a bad rap.
You might say he's been ill-served by his PR teams over the years, that a certain kind of view of him has been communicated, obviously not helped by the Camilla affair and the Diana situation. That hasn't done him any favours either. But, you know, he's a thinking man, he's a thoughtful man, in many ways a visionary, particularly in terms of global warming and the planet and the ecosystem. I mean, he really did know about things long before everyone else, and he wasn't
when he's
bonkers.
talking about, you know, sort of that we've got the water filtration systems that you put in a highgrove, all of that sort of stuff, and being close to nature, close to plants. Everyone said, oh, he's a nutter, and then suddenly you realise, actually, no, he was actually in the vanguard of the whole thing.
Absolutely. I mean, he did really have the courage of his convictions on that stuff, and I think, you know, he's really been proved right over the last sort of 20 or 30 years. But I mean, I think you're right that he's had a bad rap, but it's still, I still think that the royals are going to find it difficult to sort of, you know, get to maintain the levels of public affection that there have been there for the Queen, who, you know, has served this country for so many decades and with such an incredible work ethic. I mean, it's incredible that it's only really now, at her age now, that we're seeing a scaling back, that it didn't happen, you know 10 or 15 years ago.
And if it weren't for the mobility issues, she wouldn't be scaling back.
I think that's right,
I think you can't help thinking, how does she feel about this? And I bet she feels a little sad. Don't you? And then if she feels a little sad, then I feel sad.
It makes you feel sad.
Yes.
Well, this might make her feel a little sad because Prince Harry could miss the Queen's Jubilee celebrations amid reports he has pledged to play a full season of polo in California, running across the bank holiday weekend. Of course, that's when the Jubilee will be taking place. So, you know, is he going to miss out again?
I'm finding it really hard to struggle to care about Harry and whether he'll come back for the Jubilee. We've heard so much in recent weeks and months about will he, won't he. There's been all these arguments about his security and who should pay for security, and is he entitled to the same level of security as the other royals. The police and the government say that he isn't. And to be honest, I had a lot of sympathy for Harry and Meghan when they first stepped away from the royal family. I think they did get quite an unfair treatment in the press. But my patience is sort of running out. It's kind of like, if you want to come back, come back. If
Although
not,
he hasn't actually said anything yet.
Well, it does say Prince Harry could miss the Queen's Jubilee
So we don't... He actually hasn't... It's not like, oh, well, we won't we?
It was a claim that comes from Meghan Markle's journalist friend Omid Scobie after tweeting the announcement.
Well, he always seems to have the hotline, doesn't he? I mean, it's not, you know, it's not as if he doesn't get the scoop. He always does on what they're doing. I mean, what do I think about it? I think it's a damn shame if he doesn't come back. I think he damn well should come back. It's an enormously momentous occasion. It's huge, it's voluminous, it's historical. It's his own grandma. I mean, gosh, what more do you need? I mean, get off the horse and come over here. I mean, do you know, what about priorities? priorities. You surely don't prioritise
I feel like he is going to be
a game of polo.
I don't know why. I feel like he is.
Maybe
I just feel like this is just noise. I feel like this is all just noise.
Whether he does or doesn't, he ought to be here. I think he ought to.
I think most people would agree with that. And I think that the stuff around the security, all those arguments about who should pay and him saying, I'm not going to come back unless the government agrees.
Pretty sure that if he goes to the Queen's Jubilee, he's going to be fairly safe. You know, soldiers, Windsor, horses, cavalry, he'll be safe.
The idea that the government are sort of going to take a look at him and say, oh, well, he stepped away, so we're going to put him at risk. There would have been proper security assessments done behind the scenes. And so I do think it all looks a bit petty.
Well, maybe it's the choice of music of his brother that might, you know, sort of... But in other royal news, Prince William revealed that he's the fan of club anthems.
Yes.
That's one of those things that you wonder whether he said it and thought, oh, what did I say?
Hang on, what is a club anthem again? Let me just think. Well, I happen to be, you know, I mean, I'm not exactly married to Ben, but we've been together 16 years, and of course, he's Mr. Turnaround. Hey, what's wrong with you? So we like those in my house.
I think Willem be loving a bit of
Yes,
that.
and I'm definitely going to say on the record that that is definitely Prince William's favourite song. I'm sure, and if it's not, it should be. I mean, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say I heard that.
And the Queen's as
Hotline
well.
from Omi Scobie. That's the favourite song in the royal household.